I think social media has convinced a lot of teachers that they need a Pinterest perfect classroom. But after teaching for 35 years, I can tell you that's not what makes a classroom successful. Today, I'm going to show you the 4 areas I'd organize first before students walk through the door. So let's go. Today's episode isn't going to be about where every paper and pencil belongs in your classroom because that would take an hour. So instead, I just want to give you a simple roadmap so you know exactly where to start when it comes to organizing your classroom. And don't feel like you have to do it all at once. Have you ever started cleaning out a closet and thought it would only take you about an hour maybe, and then 5 hours later, you're sitting in the middle of a giant mess wishing you'd never started? We don't want that to happen in your classroom. So as we're going through the roadmap today, pick one area that you'd like to work on and start there. So the first area that you want to think about are the student spaces. And there's basically 3 things you want to keep in mind. Number 1, give everything that kids use a home. Every single thing that they use every day should have a place where it's kept, and that basically shouldn't change all year. Math tubs go in the math center. Art supplies go in the art center. Phonics games go in the word work center. Stuff like that. When kids know exactly where things go, they can easily get what they need and put it away on their own. Number 2, you want to keep supplies that the kids use within reach. Think about things like extra pencils, crayons, extra scissors, paper. All those things need a place in the classroom where kids can get them if they run out of something. They should be able to reach it on their own and know exactly where to find it. And number 3 kind of goes along with that, and it's that kids should be able to put things away independently. Shelves need to be low enough that they can reach them. Their cubby or hook where they hang their things should be labeled with their name and be in a place where they can reach it. Mailboxes, turn-in baskets, everything should be where kids can get to it themselves. Because when you have everything labeled and easily accessible, kids can do things on their own, and that builds their independence, and that's the ultimate goal. By the way, if you're making a list of routines and organizational things that you need to teach your students, I have a free classroom routines checklist, and you can grab that. I'll put it in the link down below. It goes hand in hand with everything we're talking about today. All right, so far we've talked about organizing things that your students use every day. Now let's switch gears and organize the area that you're probably going to spend the most time in, your own teacher space. The 3 things you want to keep in mind for your own area. Number 1, keep the things that you use every single day nearby, within arm's reach, so you can grab things quickly and not have to search for stuff. So we're talking pens, your scissors, your computer, paper clips, Band-Aids for scraped knees. You want everything that you grab for every day close by so that you're not searching for it. Number 2, you definitely need some sort of system for your paper management. You're going to have daily papers to grade. You might have homework coming in. You might have important notes from parents or memos from the office. You need some kind of system where you can keep all those papers organized and easy to find. And then the third thing you want to keep in mind is to store materials as much as possible where you actually use them. So for example, think about your small group table. If you use magnetic letters there every day, keep a set at that area so you don't have to get up every time and go get it from the word work center or someplace. So keep things where you actually use them. Glue, extra scissors, crayons, construction paper. Keep that stuff at the art center. That's how you want to organize your supplies in your classroom. All right, moving on to the third area of organization, and those are your learning spaces in your classroom. This is where I see teachers make one of the biggest mistakes because they organize for how the classroom looks instead of how kids actually use it. So learning spaces are the places where kids are going to be working independently. Places like your learning centers, your classroom library, and your computers. So the 3 things you want to think about when it comes to learning spaces. Number 1, you need to organize them for student independence. You need to make sure that materials are arranged so kids can get what they need without asking you. Things should be labeled and within reach, and you should have extra supplies at the center or at least somewhere that kids can get them if needed. The second thing you want to think about when it comes to learning spaces is the traffic flow. There needs to be a clear pathway for both you and the kids to be able to get to centers or to the carpet or to the doorway. And you want high traffic areas kept clear. You don't want a bottleneck near the classroom door because if you've got a big piece of furniture blocking the way or something, that's not good. And you don't want too much furniture either. Sometimes, less is more. All right, then. Finally, you want to create purposeful learning areas. The library is for looking at books. The math center has things like manipulatives and math games and math-related books. The carpet is where you meet for whole group lessons. And then keep the things that you need for those areas at the area. If you use white correction tape, for instance, when you're making anchor charts with the kids at the carpet, keep a roll of it in a basket at the carpet, along with other things like Sharpies or pointers or things that you might use in your whole group lessons. When you keep things organized in that way, right at the space where you need it, it saves time for you, and it also keeps kids on task because they're not waiting around for you to go searching for something, and then they're fooling around while you're looking for whatever it is you need. All right, and then the final thing you want to think about when it comes to classroom organization are your daily routines. Your daily routines are the things that you and the kids do every single day of the school year. This would be things like, where do the kids sign in for lunch? Where do they put their daily folder? How do you get your lunch count to the cafeteria? Where do they turn in papers? Where do you keep your students' snacks? All these things are routines that you're going to do with your kids every day. And so you should have designated spots for each of these routines so that kids know exactly what to do when they walk in the door or finish their work or whatever. And you need your own routines too. I can't tell you how many times I got a call from the office at 9:05 asking for my lunch count. The minute the phone rang, I knew exactly who it was. I was the absolute worst at remembering to do that every day. So it's all those kind of things that you need to be organized about so you don't get, the dreaded phone call like I did. So as you're setting up your classroom this year, don't worry so much about making it Pinterest perfect with all the matchy bins and everything. Instead, ask yourself these 4 questions. Do my students know where their things go? Can I quickly find what I need? Does my classroom layout make sense? And does every daily routine have an organized place? If you can answer yes to those 4 questions, I think you're pretty much well on your way to creating a classroom that's going to work great for both you and your students. So which one of these 4 areas feels the most overwhelming to you? Student spaces, teacher spaces, learning spaces, or daily routines? Let me know down in the comments because I read every single one of them. And be sure to come back next week when I'm going to be talking about how to set up flexible seating in your classroom. You're not going to want to miss that one. I loved it when I did it in my room. All right, friends, until next week, remember to make learning feel like play, and I'll talk to you soon.